when I moved in, the bath here, around here, was not sealed. And when the plumber came to replace the taps and all the internals that had blown out, they sealed all the way around the bath. But when I moved in, what had happened, you'd stand in the bath and all water would spurt from underneath the bath up the sides of the walls. This property has not been properly maintained. I mean, under no circumstances should a bath not be sealed to the wall. It is now, but I mean, the bath needs to be replaced, and before the new tenants move in. And this shower, for the first 4 months, it was producing high levels of soot in the water, all the hot water was. And I didn't call, I didn't want to make any more complaints because I just like to get on with my life. But at the point where I was covered in welts that were bleeding all the time from the water and pimples and rashes, I finally in May called, and they came out and tested the water. They said it's all full of soot because the hot water system was 16 years old and it's not working properly. It's producing more soot than water. So they replaced that, but ever since then I've still been getting pimples and rashes. Now I believe the pimples and rashes are because the hot water comes from around there from the kitchen, and it travels down along the floor, the hot water from the hot water system, and I believe it somehow meets up here and then disperses up to the basin and to the what do we call it, where the washing machine is, and the shower and bath. And what's been happening is all year since February, whenever you turn the water on, at any one of these points, there's always wet floor, and it took me all year to work out, because I thought it was me maybe being sloppy over the top of the basin and splashing about, or was it me splashing water out because there's not much to protect. There's only a bit of glass there to protect from the water coming out while you have a shower, so I thought it was that. And I tested, was it the washing machine overflowing, backwashing or something, and coming back through the tub out onto the floor, because the washing machine hose would go around that, and it sat perfectly there, and around the nose, and the washing machine water would come down into there. So I thought maybe, but there's no backwashing because it was fine. It was fine travelling and going down there. So, and I've stand here and watched the washing machine as well. But yet what would happen is just all the tiles would somehow, all the grit would suddenly become wet and moist, and then there'd be puddles on all the tiles. And it's taken all year until finally, you've seen in the other video where the water we found, now there's a little unnatural spring that comes up there. And what you'll find is it's coming up in multiple places, and it comes up over here as well now because it's quite bad. The damage underneath, because this has been since the previous tenant before my time, when your tradesmen actually pull up the tiles, they're going to find there's a hell of a lot of damage under the floor, and have to replace the main pipes, I believe. I believe it's the hot water, or just the main water pipe even coming from the kitchen area. That's what I believe it is. The plumber thinks it's the water from these systems going out a drain pipe. He thinks that's what's burst. But I have watched the washing machine fill up with water from those taps and not spin or release any water. And I've pressed stop and paused it, and the floor's wet. And there was no leaking from those pipes. So I believe it's got to be the water coming from a main water pipe that's coming from the kitchen. And that's because there's been a hole there all year in that pipe, and there's obviously rusted through, and dirt all in it. There is rust and dirt in the water because the water has to pass through that hole, which is just full of grit and grime and gunk underneath whatever's underneath that floor. And that's why I'm getting rashes and pimples from the water. Even now that the soot has been taken from the water, there's still other things in the water. Another problem, which has been, this is a small problem since the previous tenant, which I don't think he told you about, was this handrail. It was just sitting like it's sitting off its hinges. You can see there. And what I've done is you just blow on it and it would fall down. So I've bought some white duct tape and fixed it all up as best that I can, but it can't have any sort of pressure on it. But that's not to do with me. Your previous tenant, whatever he's done to it, he's been leaning on it or something like that, and or it's just very old and it needs to be replaced. I'm not sure. Also, just in the last, in June and July, there were 3 different times when I had a shower. A few minutes after I got out of the shower, I was drying myself. Probably about 3 or 4 minutes after the shower had finished, I heard a really loud bang that came from this area. It like a pipe bursting. I don't think it was an electrical pop. I'm not quite sure what it was, but anyway, I knew something's not right in that area. And I had also seen previous in about May, what had started to appear was there's a hole in there that's just been like water has blown through from the other side to blow a hole in the grit. You can see there. I'm not confident in what's going on in the pipes behind this wall. And what happened 3 weeks ago, my washing machine was attached to here, and that had been fine all year, and then suddenly it blew, and it's blown my washing machine. And now I moved my washing machine with the movers came and took it with all my other stuff, and have put it in storage at the moment. But when I've got time in the next few weeks, I'm going to get electricians. It's out of warranty now, so I'm going to get someone to have a look at it and see why it's blown. But I tested with something else in that. That point is gone. That point is not working anymore. It was the point that blew, not it blew up my washing machine, but it's not to do with my washing machine's fault. It's the point's fault. So you need to take this off the wall. I believe though that is becoming live. I reckon there's a burst pipe or something has happened here, and that has eventually dripped onto some sort of electrical something that crosses over, and I reckon the next one to go will be that one, but that one still works at this point in time.